Hey there everybody, welcome back to more Haunting Ground. Last time we started our exploration of the mansion portion of the game. We got a few puzzles out of the way, we did a little bit of exploring, didn't run into Danielle too much, but things might change today. And you might be wondering why we are in this particular hallway. We are collecting a few items, nothing too important. But what is actually most important is the fact that there is this little area off to the left hand side here we didn't explore before, and that was mostly due to the fact that we would have needed a key. And what we need a key for is to enter in these two nearby rooms. One path leads to the truth, another leads to deception. So this isn't, well, initially this doesn't seem like too difficult of a puzzle. But we just had to figure out what is right in the truth room and what is wrong in the room of lies. Now upon entering the room, we see it's pretty much like any other quote-unquote normal room in the game. There is something drawing Fiona's attention though by the fireplace. Let's go ahead and take a look over there and we'll find Daniela. I wonder how she's doing. Actually, it's probably not for the best that you talk to her in this particular room. That cutscene you just saw is actually her gaining a new weapon instead of the glass shard. The hot poker actually does more damage, and, well, she'll only start to carry it if you trigger that cutscene. So let's go ahead and figure out what we need to figure out in this particular room. Now, there are quite a few things you can investigate, and they might not seem obvious as to why you can investigate, but it's more just a case of testing your memory. And using my keen eyesight and powers of deduction, I now have in my mind what is the items of truth. So we'll go ahead and head over to the room of deception. And what we find is almost a carbon copy of the other room. And I say almost because there are a few key items that are different. Can you spot them? Well, hopefully you can. But let's go ahead and figure out which ones are the items that we need to write. First is the chessboard here. You may notice a couple of the pieces are out of place, and it does give us an option to investigate more thoroughly. And by finding the correct one, we have unlocked a door or moved something somewhere in the mansion. The next thing that is off are these wax figures here. You may notice that one of the wax figures is now touching the other one, and I think the one kneeling is kneeling differently. And last but not least is an item over by the fireplace here. Probably the most obvious one, as it is an hourglass that seems to be frozen incorrectly. So with all those righted, it might make you wonder what happens if we do select something incorrectly. Yeah, we narrowly avert another instant death trap. So hopefully you do have a keen eye for details, otherwise you're pretty much doomed. But with that, we have opened up quite a few passages and changed a few things in the mansion. So we're going to go ahead and search around a bit to see what we can find that is different. Now initially, something does seem off with the merry-go-round. I don't remember entering in from this side. At least not from that direction anyway. And we find that the merry-go-round has actually shifted about, and we now have access to a torture chamber. As with any torture chamber, there are a number of commonplace torture devices, such as the rack and a restraining chair, but we also find a rather large Iron Maiden. It's actually full of spikes right now, so we can't get inside of it, but we do find a nearby mechanism which allows these spikes to retract, and if we really wanted to, we could use this as a hiding spot, but that might not be the best idea. Yeah, there is a chance that even if you do evade Daniela and hide in there, she will still manage to kill you. But what draws our attention is this nearby corpse here. It may be a bit hard to see, but around its neck is actually another key. Let's go ahead and take it. Oh, it gotcha. Yeah, this isn't a corpse at all. It's actually an eternally suffering man. You can definitely tell they decided to turn up the instant death and pain and difficulty in this particular area of the game. And it can definitely be a bit of a pain in the balls to figure out your first time around. So behind the corpse here we find at least 4 buttons and what can sometimes be a bit of a difficult puzzle. Like you can see particular words are colored a particular way, And really, you might already notice that one of the 4 flames is no longer lit. So really all we have to do is make it so that all the lit little jugs go out. But we do have to follow the particular color pattern that it gives us, and well, it does revolve around directing Huey, and it can be a bit difficult, but there is a simple solution after I failed more times than necessary.
Come on. Come on.
And just like that, we have solved another puzzle and exorcised the spirit out of that poor tortured soul. I'm sure he appreciated it. And oh, we can't leave just yet. We can't forget the key around his neck. That was the entire reason we came in here. Now it's just a question of figuring out what to do with that key. We've actually already seen the door to where it goes, but there are actually a few more doors that we have managed to open. Now you may recall there were some doors beforehand that just led into blocked off walls, I suppose, and we are going to have to find those again before we can really continue on. Thankfully, we do find a shortcut here back to where we found the mansion sketch before. And as you can kind of assume, since the merry-go-round has turned, we can actually investigate and find out what was on the other side. Through the twisted side of the merry-go-round, we find our way onto the side of that fenced-off area near the bathroom. And outside of these few items, hidden away over here in the corner, is Daniela cleaning up yet again. And this time it's actually safe to talk to her.
Miss Fiona.
Now, even though she does insult us, she does have a present for us from the quote-unquote Lord of the Manor. Now, this is actually a special use item that we don't know the purpose of at this particular moment, but we will definitely be seeing what it does soon enough. Now it's actually time to go find one of those blocked off doors I mentioned before. Well, I do want to keep Huey. I always worry about his howling kind of triggering off any of the stalkers. And especially in this particular area, it can kind of be hard to determine when Daniela is going to decide to stop cleaning and just charge after us.
Huey. Huey.
But this previously blocked off door leads us into more or less just a optional little side area. has a few new items that we haven't seen before, such as the Weeping Stone. That is actually a thrown item that we can use to distract a stalker. It'll cause something of a soft sobbing sound, and a stalker will be drawn to that as opposed to wherever we might be hiding. And after being mildly assaulted by that luminescent, we find a chimera here. You may remember this is in that stuffed mastodon room we went through before. And we get a special, rather unique item that we can feed to Huey. Though for the most part we actually don't want to be feeding that to Huey. I think that is the item that makes Huey go all bonkers and attack anything nearby, including us. So I don't know what situation you'd want to use that in. But we have found our way full circle back to the start of the mansion. So I think we're just going to go ahead and cut back to where we need to be. Which is all the way back at that I think it's just called the Serpent's Hallway, mostly because it leads to that room with the three dragon or serpent heads. And I know we hadn't gone down this direction before, and that's mostly due to the fact that it would be blocked off had we not actually finished that Room of Truth and Deception. This bridge would not have been here. But with that bridge down, we now have access to a secluded little cemetery. There isn't too much to do in here right now, but by investigating a nearby mausoleum, we do get some vague hint as to, well, pretty much the final puzzle we're going to be solving for the video. Now, the inscription on the mausoleum here, you can see that there is an emphasis on lifeblood. And as of right now, I don't think we've run into anything that, actually give us blood. It's not like you can squeeze blood from a stone. And it's not like I'm about to have Fiona cut herself to get what we need. So instead, we're going to have to remember that key we picked up earlier and try to remember where the door was for it. And rather conveniently, it's actually not too far away. If you recall, there was a locked door waiting for us in the three-headed serpent's room. Or I guess, I don't know, is it three-headed? Whatever. But yeah, we have access to this particular door. And waiting behind it is that rather lovely garden we saw earlier. I wonder what's planted in here. Yeah, nothing can be simple in the world of Haunting Ground, and, well, this isn't just a simple garden, but it's an entire grove of Mandragora. Now, Mandragora are a rather unique plant that, in the real world is actually used to make a particular poison. It's also known as mandrake, but in mythological fantasy circles, it's also kind of a living plant. Now the problem is we need a very particular type of Mandragora, and that's where the Hebble's perfume comes into play. By spraying it towards Huey, he'll get the proper scent we need, and he'll actually direct us to the correct Mandragora. You might actually be able to tell, but the Mandragora appear to be coming in all different types of colors. But only one particular one is the one we need.
Come on.
And that is the one that Huey goes towards. But before we actually pick that, I do want to set up something of a little trap. In that cemetery we were in before, it might have been a bit hard to tell, but there was actually a particular bush in the cemetery that we can have Huey hide inside. Now you might be asking, why on earth would we want to have Huey hide if we already know the solution to the puzzle and it's pretty close by? Well, trust me, it's probably for the best.
Go, Huey.
Yeah, with Huey now safely hidden away, I feel pretty safe in going and getting that Mandragora. But yeah, the interesting thing about Mandragora is that they are less of a plant in the fantasy world and more of an actual living being. It's just that their upper portion happens to give off the look of a plant, and they get rather aggravated when you pull them out. And in this case, it pretty much goes along with fantasy setting. This one will start to scream like crazy. It will cause us to go into a constant panic until we get rid of it, and it will actually give full attention to Daniela. Now, what I was assuming was that Daniela was going to keep chasing me into the cemetery here, but yeah, as you can tell by the change in music, she appears to have already given up. Which is a bit of a bummer. I had such a cool setup ready to go, but I guess I was supposed to do it earlier. Well, I mean, at least that wasn't too hard. Normally she actually gives chase for quite a bit, and it's actually pretty difficult. But even still, I can at least show you what was supposed to happen right after getting some nearby beef jerky. But yeah, if Huey was hiding in the bush and Daniela actually chased us in here, Huey would learn a brand new move, that dodge move you saw, but either way, he'll still learn it later. For right now, let's go ahead and use that Mandragora we got. I know I didn't show it off, but there's actually a mysterious hand waiting in the darkness here that won't let us pass until we give it blood. Such a grisly way to die, even for a nasty, screeching little plant. But with that, I think we have solved quite a few puzzles. I think we've made quite a bit of progression. So hopefully next time you'll join me for more Haunting Ground.